2024 has shown everyone how crazy inflation can be and how the income that you depend on as a family can just disappear with all the layoffs and things that are going on with the economy. I just shopped at Costco yesterday, and normally we go to Costco for organic fruit and veggies and maybe eggs and dairy. I get all my protein at the markets. And we spent $500. And my kids and my family, we're just gonna eat it in a week. And I still have to get our protein. It's just crazy. As a person who's always worried about what's gonna happen next, I always try to have 3 to 4 business incomes. And this video is about businesses you can start with $0, but I also want to provide you with some mindset that I've had for a while now. But first, I would like to thank HubSpot for sponsoring this video. So I started my first business when I was 13. I couldn't legally do it, so my mom signed all the papers. I was basically selling Avon cosmetics to teachers at our school, which taught me sales, which taught me negotiation. Great thing to do. Then I was a sales assistant at a souvenir store in St. Petersburg until I realized one thing. You can provide the most value in a niche that you like and where you're an expert in. Since the age of 14, I was fascinated with study abroad, and all I wanted to do was to learn languages and explore universities and scholarships. And in 2011, when I was 21, my then boyfriend, now husband, and I started a business helping people book their education abroad. And this is something I want you to think of before we jump into actual business ideas. A lot of people just watch these videos on YouTube and they're like, oh, this YouTuber told me dropshipping is a great business. Let me just go and try it. The thing is, the best business ideas are around you, in your life. There are problems that you feel like you are the best to solve. When it came to study abroad, I was like, I am so passionate about it. I can do it so much better than anyone else. And of course I couldn't. It's just, it was inside of me. Like when you feel this desire, like, oh, I really want to help solve this problem, this is when you go and solve it. Because sometimes people try to solve problems that do not exist. And the first business, especially if you have $0, has to be something that you understand and something that you can start without investing anything. And this is typically a consulting or a service-based business where you basically sell your time. And there is a limit to this business. And this is why we first started consulting people on how to study abroad. And then we booked a platform because I realized, who want to make more money, I just can't charge people for my time. I have to charge them for something else like a platform. But we spend tens of thousands of dollars coding that platform, so you can't start with it. But you can start with something that you uniquely have, and that's your skill. Some skills take longer to acquire. Some skills can be acquired in a matter of days. And we're gonna talk about some of those in-demand skills in this video. But there is one very important thing I want you to remember. When you are putting a little bit extra into the service you're providing, into something that you're doing, you're ahead of so many people. And I've seen this work many, many times. Like when I talk to the most talented entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, yes, they are smart, but there are so many smart people. What I notice about them is that when they start doing something, they only do it if they have enough time to make it perfect. They say a lot of no's, but if they say yes, they're 100% in it. Even if it comes to a birthday party, even if it comes to helping someone. So have this mindset. I recently took a management training and they told us about the concept of 1.2 people versus 0.8 people. So when you keep multiplying something by 0.8, your value reduces tremendously. And so if you start multiple businesses where you are a 0.8 person, meaning you don't really care, you're just making it for money because somebody told you to do so, then your net worth or whatever, your reputation is multiplied by 0.8. Which leads to 0. But if you start only a couple businesses or do only a couple things where you're a 1.2 person, meaning you're exceeding expectations, meaning you're always on time, meaning you're putting extra effort, then your business, your cash flow is going to grow exponentially. And again, I've seen this work so many times. You don't have to be extra talented. You don't have to be extra smart. You just have to be a little bit more passionate and diligent than people surrounding you. Hopefully this inspired you to pick the idea you really, really love, because this is the basis for everything that you do. I know that this all might sound really daunting and it's really hard to find the right business idea. And sometimes it seems like that the best niches are already taken. And this is probably why you're watching this video. And this is why I always talk to other entrepreneurs and ask them, what are you guys working on? How's it going? It's just good to see other people's ideas to inspire yourself. If you want to unlock your entrepreneurial potential and discover more innovative business ideas, I recommend checking out this free database with 57 business ideas to jumpstart a new venture from HubSpot and My First Million. I've put it in the description for you to access for free. All ideas are intriguing and innovative, yet simple to start without requiring millions in initial investments. They're categorized into 5 sections: AI and tech, content and education, entertainment, services and retail, and health and wellness. All the ideas come straight from the My First Million podcast archives, so you can listen to a short podcast episode about each to dive deeper into the business idea. Personally, I found the AI section very interesting to explore. I am taking notes. And the episode about virtual AI influencers inspired me to further experiment with my content. This database was made by HubSpot, which is today's video sponsor. A big shout out for them for this free resource. And now back to my business ideas. Now let's move on to the actual ideas. And again, whenever you think about ideas, try to utilize your background. When I think about business ideas, I know I'm an Eastern European in the US, and things that I notice are very unique to me because I travel the world. I spent most of 2023 outside the US, and whenever I come back, I notice several things that other parts of the world made almost perfect, and the US is still behind. And I'm gonna mention some of those things closer to the end of this video. Now we're gonna start with online businesses, and then we're gonna dive into offline businesses. But when we talk about online businesses, of course, we have to talk about AI. And what's crazy about AI is that people who are able to iterate very quickly, because there are so many tools that you can use to build a business now, you just can't spend a year or 2 years just building something out. And I think it's great for beginners. You can just try something, see if it's working, see if people are buying it, and move on if you see that the idea is not really taking off. And the second thing, when you think of building something, try to think of a very niche application. So it's very easy to build a custom AI tool these days. You can build your AI chatbot very quickly, and there are a lot of videos on YouTube teaching you to do that. But my advice here would be, if you're building something, try to make it as niche as possible. For example, you can build a chatbot that helps people with their diets. Maybe you can identify good or bad products for the household, something that's toxic, something that's not. Or maybe it's a chatbot that tells a night story to kids who are learning to count, whatever. But if it's a niche idea, then you have a chance. If it's a huge idea like, oh, I'm gonna build another email app with AI, the problem is bigger corporations are gonna take over. And if you're just starting out, you have to solve a problem that you understand, and that you understand is a very niche problem. I feel like a lot of our success at LinguaTrip, why we were able to get into 500 startups as a startup from Russia, was because we were solving something really niche. Study abroad is not a big market. This is a more complicated business idea, but yes, it's a $0-ish business idea, needs your time. But I feel like Silicon Valley Girl channel has to provide this type of idea in the list of ideas. And I feel like everyone should get acquainted with AI tools and start using them. Now, if you realize that building an app is not something that you want to start with $0 these days, another thing you could do is actually explore certain AI tools in different niches and then consult people on how to integrate them. For example, I'm a creator and we're testing AI tools every 2 weeks, but I have a team to test them. And we were testing these tools that make short videos out of long form, and my team tested them and they told me like, oh, we tested 10 apps. This one is okay, let's do that one. And again, niche down. For example, consult creators on how they can utilize AI tools. And there is so much you can build around it. Yes, you can charge by hours, but you can also build a social media channel around it, review different apps, but get acquainted with AI tools in your niche, and there is a way you can monetize that knowledge. The next business idea is going to be a blend of online and offline. So I've recently started selling a lot of clothes that I no longer wear, and I tried the Real and it's Oh my God, so seller unfriendly. Like I would send them something that is worth $300 and they would sell it for $7. It was just so frustrating. So I started listing items on eBay myself, and I'm able to sell them like for $200, $250. But it takes a lot of my time. So we started doing that with my assistant, but now I'm actually looking for a person who's just gonna focus on that. So I realized there are a lot of stores in San Francisco that would take my old clothes in exchange for money, which is great. Also, some of the clothes can be listed on eBay. And again, creators are people who are getting a lot of free stuff from companies all the time. And once they review that stuff, they either send it back or it just sits in their attic. These things need to be sold. And it could be in a form of, creating a separate account for a creator or selling them on eBay. But this is a business idea for you guys. Reach out to creators, ask them if they need help selling their old things. And if you're local to them, that's the best. And you can negotiate a percentage. Don't make it an hourly rate. Ask them for 10 to 20%. They will be really happy to take up on your offer. Now, the next business ideas are offline business ideas. And I decided to mention them because I am personally struggling with this in the US. Number one are nannies. So we tried care.com. And again, what I feel is that people who want to become nannies or who try to work as nannies, they don't care. Like we tested 10 nannies and most of them would just sit down on a couch and like look at my kids and my kids be like, who's that lady? It's really hard to find a motivated nanny. We tried nannies who make like $60 an hour and they were still like not the quality. If you genuinely care about kids and you can become the best nanny in the neighborhood, you're gonna get so much business. Night nannies charge $50 an hour, which means you stay for a night and you get paid $400. I know nannies who charge $70 an hour, but you have to be a really good nanny. You have to really care about the kid, come up with activities, interact with kids, engage with kids. And fortunately or unfortunately, I see that those nannies do not come from the US. Most of them are immigrants. So this is a great job for an immigrant, but also if you're an American and you feel like this market could be changed, because there is demand for people who speak English as a first language, not as a second language, especially in our family, because we only speak Russian and my kids are going to start school in English. But again, if you're even like 5 to 10% better than the average on the market, oh my God, you're gonna get ahead. And this is the American dream for me. You come to a country, you do something 5% better, and you just see how it pays off. There is a restaurant downtown Los Altos, and they have food that is slightly better than all of the downtown, and they just rented the building next to them because they're out of capacity. They're fully booked all the time. And I wouldn't say they're like top of the world. They're just good and they care. Done with the nannies. The next thing that freaks me out in the US, freaks me out, car wash. If you guys live in the US and you never traveled abroad, come to Dubai. Try washing your car there for like, I think they charge like $5 if you do that at a parking lot, and it just shines. Here, and I tested it like several times, my kids would leave a mark somewhere on the door, like they will spill milk. Especially with Tesla, so easy to test because the doors just go up. And like they don't care about the doors. They don't even wash them. And like it happens every single time. And you know how much they charge? $70. $70. And I thought, okay, maybe because I'm driving to certain services and they're bad, let's do mobile car wash. And I called this fancy company and they missed the same things. And I feel like it's a cultural thing that people don't really care. I care. When I pay $70, I want everything to be shiny and amazing. And I see how people from my country are changing the manicure culture here in the US. Russian manicure, it's a thing now. And when my friends started a manicure salon in Mountain View, you can't get in. I have to wait for 2 or 3 weeks because they are so good. And Americans who try Russian manicure for the first time, they never go back to their old manicurists because they know that Russians put this extra 10% or like 20%, I would say extra 100% because the Russian manicure is the best. They put this effort into making your nails look even, amazing. polished, taken care of. They take care of your cuticle. They put the oils, and it's just, the quality is insane. And I'm 100% sure that these salons are gonna grow like crazy. And you know that the Kardashians, like all of the top celebrities, they do Russian or Eastern European manicure, whatever you call it. I know people from other countries started doing it too. This just proves my theory. If you're slightly better at service, America's gonna appreciate you. America's gonna love you. That was it for me for today, guys. I hope it was inspiring. Let me know in comments down below what you think. If you're in the US, do you see these problems? Or, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm curious about your comments. Thank you so much, and see you soon on this channel.